Mediocre Rumble Brothers. Three, two, one.
All right, welcome, welcome to Mediocre Rumble Brothers. Today we're going to be going over the Borderlands 4 deep dive. But before we do, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel or give us the follow on Rumble. We're going to go ahead and be watching ourselves a video of our Borderlands 4 and showing what we like or dislike about it. So I guess, Udon, if you want to kick it on, we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, we're going to look at the little cinematic trailer they have here first. And we're going to switch over to the deep dive where they're going to be talking about the game. I guess forewarning, we have interest in this, unlike Marathon, where we're just kind of looking out of curiosity. I've played Borderlands 1 through 3. I did like the series. 3 was kind of a stretch for me. And I didn't like Tiny Tina's, even though it was kind of a spin-off, so I'm interested. And I've seen like nothing of Borderlands 4 like at all. So I'm interested in seeing what's going to be going on here.
I mean, I was kind of interested in Marathon. It's just what I saw made me uninterested in Marathon. I thought we were going to get like a revival of like Bungie's original Halo stuff, and then it turned into an extraction shooter that I didn't care about.
Yeah, I was expecting the same thing.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at this cinematic trailer first.
Oh.
So this is the announcement trailer from the State of Play?
Yeah, I think this came out first. They played this before Randy Pitchford and them started talking. This like cinematic trailer. This is as far as I got. I didn't hear them start like actually explaining the game. I don't know. I felt like these Vault Hunters weren't as like different, like at least just aesthetically, as like all the other ones I've seen from the other games.
It does look a lot more cartoony than the previous ones.
Well, I like
it does. It looks good.
Yes.
I really dig the colors. I mean, when you're talking about the first Borderlands, it was very just like we're in a desert, of course, and then the second one kind of has a little bit like
snow level and stuff.
More to it, some more biomes and stuff. 3 looked really good. I mean, I love they included normal maps and everything else. So the visual style of this game is really nice. Curious Led.
It definitely has a lot more color because it's like it's not Pandora. It's a different place. I was surprised about that.
I do like the new villains, like the monster set. I'm kind of glad it's not just the same fucking bandits.
Yeah, just a bigger bandit guy just fighting with some shit on his back.
He's like, it's me, the guy carrying a midget or whatever their running joke is.
Yeah, pause the recording there, but yeah, that's just the cinematic trailer, and that's as far as I got before. And I'll pause this before we start looking at the actual deep dive. But and anytime anyone wants me to pause anything or go back, just tell me so, and I can do so. Based on just that, like I was not very excited for it. The game looks nice, like graphics wise and visually speaking, it looks nice. I'm glad that my prediction didn't come true and they didn't use custom characters. They are actual characters. But my problem is that like, I guess to me, if I went back and put them side by side with all the old characters you can play as, I just fear that they'd all look the fucking same. Compared to the other ones, because like you have a really hard time selling me on new characters after you gave me a mech warrior and a robotic beast tamer. So they're really going to have to sell me on these characters for me to really kind of care about them, because I'm not very excited just looking at them as they are now.
Well, what was the game? Was it Borderlands 2 that had the Necromancer class that was in
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the second one.
Yeah, because that's the one I as soon as they added that DLC, like, because I played 0 in 2, and the Necromancer, when I got that DLC, I was like, yeah, I don't want anything else thing, because that was so broken. At least it felt broken.
Well, they were fun to play. That was my favorite too, or playing as Craig the Psycho or something. Like Borderlands 2, I mean, like Zero's concept was cool, but I just didn't feel like his powers like really gave me the fantasy of being a cyborg ninja, so I didn't really care to play as him.
Yeah, I think it stems from like because when I played Borderlands 1, I played as Roland, and we had a full squad. We kind of all picked. My buddy was Mordecai, and the Gunzerker, blah blah blah. And then in the second one, I was like, well, I want to be the sniper this time, but I played as Zero, and I think I spec'd in the sword stats. But when the DLC stuff came out, I was like, I'm the Necromancer. God damn it, I want to do something that's like way more interesting than like the characters. Like Roland was a cool character in the first one. I liked him a lot with the turrets and stuff. I think like anybody that's making like a secondary entity, I think that helps you like in combat, like a familiar. That because I always did Conjuring, Skyrim, and stuff too. So like that's why I like that stuff. I always play as Necromancer too when I play RPGs, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, when I played the first Borderlands, I just played as Lilith because I found she was the most interesting, just because she had the weird psychic space powers, and I was like, that's cool. And if I didn't play her, I played as Brick because punching shit's fun. Uh, Borderlands 2, I played as Maya because again, I was just like, I like playing as like the different character, and when the Necromancer came out, she became my new favorite. But the characters got like more exaggerated, and I know the pre-sequel or whatever gets a lot of hate, but I feel like those had really fun characters to play in them as well. Borderlands 3, they were really hitting their stride with the characters. Didn't care for the Siren in that one, but I guess based off 3, I was expecting more. The only one that like stands out to me in the trailer is the Viking dude with the axes, but whether or not I actually play as someone like him remains to be seen. Like I said, maybe there's something about these characters that they can convince me is cooler than what I just saw in that trailer, but on surface level, I'm just like not interested in any of them.
Yeah, well, the Siren in 3 was I remember her. She was like the buff,
punchy chick,
like,
yeah.
Shiva arms kind of thing. Yeah.
Like it was
And
cool
then-
in concept. I just thought it wasn't very fun in execution.
Wasn't like Brick's thing. He could use two-handed weapons with one hand.
I think that wasn't that the Gunzerker from 2?
Gunzerker
Bricks-
was using 2 weapons at once.
Yeah. Oh, Brick just he had that rage mode already. Like beat the shit.
Yeah, he
out
just
of
punched the shit out of things. Yeah, that's all Brick did. But that was also fun because you're punching the shit out of things.
Yeah, I just like the ones that have like more continuous effects rather than just like a single use instant effect. So it's like I really like the. I mean, I played the Siren for a little bit, but then it got a little boring. And 2 playing as that Siren, and then I think I played a little bit of 0 and the gun. Mostly liked at Axton, because the turrets were there most of the time, so my action skills were more useful. And then in Borderlands 3, it's definitely like the best set of Vault Hunters because they were all like very unique and they all had interesting effects. Even though like the Siren one, I didn't really care for her either, but from what I saw, her effects were interesting. It's just like I just wasn't interested in like the wrestler magic user. So I was more interested in the soldier with like doppelganger shield and things like that, and of course the bear, and then like the hunter with like his random dog and monkey and stuff.
Yeah. So hopefully they might go into more detail on this deep dive because, like I said, I haven't seen anything past just that cinematic trailer. So everything we're about to see is completely new for me. Did you play Borderlands, Jordan, at all? How much have you?
Yeah, I played 1 and I beat 1 and 2. 1 it's kind of hazy for me. I remember playing a long time ago with Corey them back in the day when they were like gun ho about getting all those, because they had, the DLCs was coming for 360 a lot, so it was like constantly getting it all the time.
We played Borderlands on the floor, and me and my friends moved into a house, and we didn't have any furniture in yet, but we had TVs on the ground in our place to play Borderlands.
Yeah, and then I got the second one. I beat the second one with my nephew. The third one, this is kind of where it came down to it, where you end up finding out if you have a lot of people within your range to play video games and such. I usually tend to like to enjoy to have that interaction with the certain someone sitting right next to me. We're playing on the same screen, split screen. And I was not able to come across that, and I did buy the game. I played it maybe for a couple of days. Didn't really feel that connection like I used to, so I ended up returning it for something else. So I have a little bit of understanding of the third one, but not so much as 1 and 2. So that's kind of where my history is on that.
So you were trying to play 3 solo, but you enjoy it more.
Right, with interaction with other people playing the same exact game. I'm not fond of playing that type of game by myself. That one definitely feels a lot better when you have a teammate or somebody co-oping with you. It's definitely more effective in my opinion for gameplay.
I think it's.
I was gonna say real quick, as like a loot goblin myself, like and coming from playing a lot of co-op games with like my buddies with multi-tap on PlayStation 2, we played Champions of Norath, Baldur's Gate, stuff like that, and then getting a looter shooter in Borderlands because it was kind of like a brand new thing at the time. We love playing that shit together, but like I don't know how it holds up as like a standalone FPS game. Like I know there's a story there and the characters are kind of interesting, but I just don't like care as much. It would just be like I'm waiting for my buddy to get off work so we can play Borderlands together because the only thing I wanted to do was just find better gear.
Yeah, you almost said exactly what I was about to say. I think like the Borderlands was fun for a lot of people, including me, because like it lets you have a couch co-op, first person RPG experience, specifically the RPG part. Because me and Tim liked playing Sacred 2. And you don't have many games that let you play like couch co-op RPGs, and this like Borderlands was kind of like RPG light FPS, thing, looter shooter, whatever you want to call it. So it gave like a unique experience to where it wasn't just like playing Halo where you're just going through the levels, right? Like you're playing a character, you're building up your character and getting guns and stuff, and fighting bosses with your friends, and so it gave you kind of like a unique play style or a unique kind of game back in that day, or at very least an uncommon one. And it helped that it was kind of it was wacky, a little zany. They kind of went too zany. I replaying Borderlands 3, it was kind of cringe to listen to the dialogue. But as far as what you just said, does it hold up today? I think so, because I think it was not too soon before 3 or after 3. They released a remaster for the first Borderlands, and I bought that, and I played through the whole game again, and I still think it holds up. Like, it was super fun. So I think the gameplay is still there. Even 3, I think the gameplay is still good. I think what holds it back is the dialogue and story. I almost feel like they put too much into story, and I don't mean it has to be like just a fucking a meme paradise or anything like that in the writing, but just write jokes that are funny. That doesn't rely on memes or like anything. Just write just make it quirky. Just make it kind of funny. I don't know.
If you can write timeless comedy, which almost sounds like an impossible task, but at the same time not really, because everything is like like cultural comedy is era based. So if it's something that doesn't age with the humor, then it's like, hey, that game was funny, but 15 years ago funny, And
yeah,
that's kind of what I see a lot of like silly shit with like the original Borderlands, but I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just I remember it being like funny at the time. I don't know how the jokes age as much, not like a politically correctness thing, but just like a topical thing where it's like the "was up" joke from the '90s. It's like that's not funny in 2025.
but I think like it has to do with just like the over exaggeration or flanderization of characters, because when you after play Borderlands 3 and then go back to Borderlands 1, and you can see how badly exaggerated Claptrap has gotten in Borderlands 3, because if you go back to the first one, you realize Claptrap wasn't like obnoxious. Like, he's meant to be like quirky and a bit annoying, but like he's not like blown out of proportion like a Minion style comedic relief like kind of character that he is now. He's much more subdued in the first one.
I always thought that Claptrap was like going more and more insane with every game that comes out, because he's always in the shit with the Vault Hunters, so he's just like more and more traumatized as each game happens.
Like,
I mean, I guess you can look at it that way, and if that's the way you want to justify it, I think that that makes sense to me. But I just don't like it. I don't, because like I just view it as a like, oh, everyone likes Claptrap like because he's a funny robot, so make the funny man 10 times more funny. Crank up the funny. Everything got to be funny. Everything has to do has to be a joke. Everything has to be loud and obnoxious and annoying. Like, the more of that, the better. And I just feel like they kind of, flanderize the character and just being just this annoying pest that doesn't really need to be there. He's just there to make bad jokes.
Well, he's a millennial R2 unit, is what it is.
Yeah.
That's what he was in the first game, in a sense. And then, because, R2 is kind of funny and, just rambunctious, I guess, compared to C3PO. But, like, I know that's what they modeled him after. But, yeah, then they kind of start dialing it to 11 in the next game. And then it's like when you watch. It'd be like watching Thundercats and being like, let's give Snarf his own movie. And I'm like, God.
Snarf, snarf.
Yeah, that's just your reference, but like it's funny to me.
It's not unlike, well, it is the same thing, right? It's almost like the comparison I would draw with is like the Minions, God forbid, but like in the first Despicable Me movie, they were just kind of like the quirky little guys that just made weird noises. But then, everyone loved them, so they had to crank them up to 11. And now they're bigger than the fucking main character of the movie.
Yeah, what if they said banana for an hour and a half? It's like,
yeah, it's like they have their own movie. Like they are Despicable Me is more known for the Minions now than fucking Gru is. I mean, hell, the Minions are like the mascot of Illumination now. So like. Yeah. It just took this little quirky thing. They're just a little quirky characters that were just supposed to be just a little funny side, background characters, and just blew it up. People just was like, oh my god, more funny, more funny. It's like, guys, too much of a good thing is bad. Like how I actually described Jim Carrey in the third Sonic movie. Love him as Eggman. I love the man. I love the actor, but too much. They dialed him up too much, and he had too much screen time. So it started becoming more annoying than funny.
I forgot how weirdly popular the Minions are in Japan as well.
I mean, it's just a thing. I don't like it, but my parallel is like that's what they did with Claptrap. They just like dialed up his annoyance because I guess that's what they decided people like about him. But they also dialed up everyone else's character traits like that to 11. So like everyone they wanted their cake and eat it too. They tried to have like the serious story, but then had all this zany shit going on at the same time. I don't know. It just didn't mix very well. It kind of, I don't know. It's hard to say what I would want out of Borderlands. Like just a baseline, like open vault. Your mission is to go open the vault, and then just shit happens on the way there. Just weird shit because everyone's fucking insane on this planet full of bandits and whatnot.
It's weird because it's kind of like Destiny in its own way, but minus the like large user base on like a server because it's 4 players. So it's kind of like your own isolated version of like a Destiny instant because it's running around gathering loot, doing whoever's host storyline, I guess, and maybe that transfers over. But it's kind of it's interesting to me that they didn't go the route of Destiny and that they still maintained like that original Borderlands playstyle. Like 3 and then rolling into 4. It's like there's probably an online of some kind, but it doesn't seem like a giant community online thing. Because if it was the custom characters, then maybe. But maybe they'll do a Borderlands on that'll be an offset from like the mainline franchise.
I mean, I don't fucking like Destiny, so I can respect them for not going it throughout. Like Borderlands has stayed within its niche as this like weird single player yet also heavily focused on like 4-player either couch co-op or online play, like just looter shooter game that's it's narrative driven. I'm fine with them staying with that, and that is something that they have kept. I think like the worst thing about the game has just been the degradation of the characters and dialogue. Like the gameplay is more or less has always felt good to me. So I'm hoping it stays that way. You kind of saw in the trailer, but it seems like the gameplay is a little slower than it used to, or rather, it's getting slower because the first Borderlands action is pretty slow if you go back and play it, but compared to like 2 and 3, the action keeps getting faster and faster. But it seems like in the trailer, I mean, obviously there's a lot of editing, so maybe it's just tricking me, but it seems like things are going slower, so you might see, hopefully we'll get like raw, unedited gameplay in this deep dive and see how it really looks to play, which we should probably get started on. So unless anyone has anything last thing to say before we get started, and obviously while we're watching this, you want to tell me to pause if you want to stop and say something or go back and see something.
And this is the gameplay reveal, or
this is the deep dive. This is when Randy Pitchford's going to be like, "Hey, I'm Randy Pitchford. I had nothing to do with this project. I have a lot of money. Anyways, Borderlands.
Gearbox. My shirts are loud."
Yeah. All right, let's go. Almost hit the wrong button.
Jesus, thumbnail. There he is. What's... I don't know.
So this is all on PS5 Pro.
I was gonna say.
See, the game does look very pretty.
Oh, for sure. I love these graphics.
There wasn't like no dragons in the last ones, were there? I don't recall there being like that kind of stuff.
Well, not outside the DLCs and stuff.
Yeah, Tiny Tina, there were dragons.
Yeah.
But that was a spin-off, so. Well, I don't. They haven't even said whether you're on Pandora or not.
Would you consider the warrior dragon?
This is Borderlands 4.
Borderlands 4. Right.
I like the rocket gun.
Yeah, I saw this beforehand, and there's like a lot more environment in like a similar fashion as, in somewhat similar fashion as like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild.
I'm gonna pause it right there so we can look at these guys. So
yeah, I thought that was fucking Kratos.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. That guy was cool in the cinematics because I see him. He has like a fire and frost axe. He's clearly supposed to be some kind of Viking inspired thing. So he stands out to me. Looking at this goth chick on the left, I'm assuming I'm gonna take a wild guess. That's probably the siren.
Yep.
All right. Well, there you go. Looking at them like this, they do look a little bit different from each other, but they still seem too same. Like if you put this group against the other groups of the other main characters, like I just feel like there's something about these ones. Maybe it's just the style of their clothing or like their colors, but none of them are very loud or different enough from one another. You have like orange, pink, red, and blue, but that's like it. You have like
choose a color of the character too, so like the color scheme doesn't really matter because couldn't you like customize and like slightly your characters?
Yeah, there will be customization, so that's gonna help. But like even baseline, like even looking at their like silhouettes, like the only one that stands out is the big Viking dude. The other three kind of have like the same body shape, and that's only because the Siren girl has this big overcoat and then the other two have that makes her look like have the same-ish body shape if you were gonna black them out and make them silhouettes of each other. I think that's kind of a problem.
I guess the hard part, like knowing already the big ass Viking dude is going to be the barbarian, like, basically gunzerker of this game. That,
yeah,
like, you could have told me he's also a soldier, and I would believe you because the guy on the right looks like a sniper.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal is. He looks like he has armor or something, but I feel like the most forgettable is the Lucio knockoff over there on the left.
Yeah, I have no idea what that character does.
I don't know. I haven't seen any move sets from them. Like, because I did watch some of the video, and like they're gonna go over the powers, and it's kind of neat. But like the powers of like the soldier on the far right, and then the siren are very kind of similar in a sense of like how they function.
Looking at them closer like this, they're a little bit more varied than I gave them credit for, but again, just comparatively to the other groups of characters, I just feel like this is like the weakest quad of characters we've had out of all of them so far, just on the surface level.
They're not as dynamic. I mean, when you look at like Zero, like his design, like he's literally just like a ninja guy. Or if you go to the group with Roland and Brick and them, like it's a big character, a regular character, and then Lilith and whatever, and Mordecai, but they all seem very unique in their outfit too. Like they're from different areas they all look like they're from the same city.
Yeah, these guys look like they're all from the same place. I think that's my problem. Like, because in 3 you have one dude's a fucking robot, so that automatically makes him way different than the others.
He was a Beastmaster, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a Beastmaster tamer. Mose, the mech warrior chick, she was really short, so her silhouette was automatically, at least on height level, was different than the other two. What was the soldier guy's name, Edwin? The one that you like?
Zane.
Zane. He was like skinnier and taller, but his silhouette was different too. He was kind of like just like your soldier dude. And then you had buff Siren Lady, which again her silhouette was much better because she was much more well toned than the rest of them were, and she had like tribal shit coming off of her outfit and whatnot.
Yeah,
These guys all look like they rolled in a dumpster and got all their shit out of there.
Yeah, there was no DLC characters for Borderlands 3, was there?
No, not that I'm aware of, which is kind of strange actually thinking about it because I mean, maybe they'll say something about that, but maybe they'll be DLC characters for 4, but because I just feel like all the characters should be put up front, but whatever.
Yeah, but like Borderlands 2 had like the most unique cast of characters because you had the Necromancer, you had Zero that is technically a 3-fingered alien ninja,
Yeah.
and then you had can literally play as a psycho bandit, which was tall and super buff.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on. Maybe they'll keep going, and we can see more into these characters. Hopefully.
Canceled.
Okay, that's cool.
Like, I like the
I like the demon wings.
There's
Oh,
something
wow.
else.
this right here. This is the thing.
All right.
It's like
So her siren abilities are already like way more varied. Okay, stop. Pause.
Yeah,
Her abilities are like her abilities seem way more varied than the other sirens were. That's kind of cool. I do like that. And this is the
conjuring ability is kind of interesting.
helmeted guy.
This is the soldier.
Oh, he's Iron Man. That's kind of neat.
Like that's the stuff though, because like she kind of has the same thing with like the wings going on, and he has like an Iron Man suit version.
Yeah, but he might be able to augment that though, because remember, there's probably also going to be at least three separate skill trees for all these characters.
True.
Yeah. She's like more range. He's more melee.
Which is kind of
or at least a little bit
because
more.
the soldiers are usually ranged too. So.
Well, they're usually the
Wait, hold
all-around.
hold on. They're going over like the story. It sounded like. Oh,
Yeah, I thought those were
Big
Vulcans.
Brother's watching.
Yeah, basically. I like the design of the villains.
Definitely like the color palette. It's really, really colorful.
Yeah.
I think they just said something about Pandora.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and
just
the three.
it's how it connects to the third one.
Oh,
Slammed into their horseshit.
yeah. So we're nowhere near Pandora anymore.
No, wait, isn't it like right next to each other?
It
Because
said halfway across the galaxy. It doesn't sound right next door.
I mean, it's all relative.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks nice. I mean, I like the environments being so vast and like not gray and red. Like that character's kind of fun.
Yeah. Hey, Zane, and my
Yeah.
girl Moxie. Oh, god damn it.
Jack Black.
And Jack Black's here.
Yeah. No.
Another one.
God
No,
damn it. I hate these fucking companion characters.
No, I'm pretty sure he's silent.
I don't care if he talks. I don't know. It's protect the robot missions. I can already see it now.
No, he said it's Echo 4. Echo is the device you use for your menus and level up and stuff.
Now it's sentient. Great. I hated that when they made that did that to the Pokedex. Does look very pretty. I'll say it again and again. This does look very pretty.
Yeah, for sure. What do they call it?
Next to no loading time.
Yeah,
No
the
load
whole
zones.
world.
Next to, that's a solid promise.
Yeah.
Oh god, I hope this isn't the start of the game. How many times can I fucking
Yeah, that's remind me of the second
Look-
one.
Look in the bottom left. I think he's level 24. This is probably like a decent chunk of the way into the game.
See this glide? I don't
Oh, you
know
can
if-
glide?
I don't
Okay.
like the glide so much because it doesn't look like he's gliding. I don't know if I'd want to go third person with it just because.
Oh, meet with Amara. I think Amara was the punchy siren from Borderlands 3. Yeah, I don't know. That looks weird.
It just feels
Kind of reminds me how you glide in Ghostwire Tokyo. It feels awkward.
Like I'm sure that it feels better like when you're playing it, but it just looks strange from.
I don't know. I can tell by the look of that it's probably going to feel weird to do it as well.
It's just like, and then murk these birds that are just flying around, not bothering you.
Yeah.
I mean, in Destiny, it's like gliding as a warlock is where it's just like you just have a glow around. It's like no like physical thing you can see that's happening that's
Yeah.
making you glide.
Like I'm so glad they didn't go with like procedural bullshit either, because that would also just make empty landscapes.
Oh, is this going to be Ubisoft where you have like a ton of shit to do around this giant open map?
Well, this is like a vault or something that you open and you go down there for treasure.
Oh.
No, I was
I
thinking
hate
like, I was thinking like the watchtowers. They open your map up and like reveal shit.
He'll explain it here in
Assassin's
a
Creed.
few, but they have legendary weapons, and they always had legendary weapons, but they actually handle them like proper legendary weapons now. Where you have to go find them because they're actual unique like powerhouse weapons. Even though there's like a bazillion guns in the fucking game, anyways. But like the named weapons, you can only get through like these event drops.
I hate this like super like purposeful cinematic gameplay. Like you're not moving or acting how a person playing this game would ever act.
Yeah, when people are playing together on those things, they're like, "Hey man, what do you think we should go to that vault?" Yeah, let's go. All right.
I'm not even talking about like the talking. I'm more talking about just like how his camera's
holding
moving.
his-
He's
how
like
he's
it's all
holding
very
his hand.
purposeful.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
calm.
It does definitely.
Oh, there you go. There's
Oh, great! You have
there
a
you
sparrow
go.
from Destiny.
Yes, I was gonna say.
He's like a totally original idea that we didn't steal from anyone.
No, I miss the buggies. I like the buggy design that Borderlands always
Yep,
had.
with the turrets.
It's literally just a
You
fucking
can
sparrow.
customize it.
Yeah,
So maybe.
there is some customizing to do with this. That's kind of neat.
Red or blue.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta
love it.
pay for purple.
Yeah. Downloadable.
$20. I'm just worried about all the UI on the damn screen pop all the time.
It's not too intrusive though. It's all nicely pushed to the side. It's kind of
But
the
see
same
that
as it's
slide?
always been.
Back for a second. Go back to when they first
Sorry.
arrived. Like this is the thing I'm talking. Like when I first was looking at the gameplay, I was like, it feels super slow to me because. And
Yeah,
I don't know,
but
I was actually
that's-
playing it because watch the slide move. He's just kind of like, yeah, like,
Yes,
this is a slide.
yeah. It's like, what was the purpose of that?
Yeah, I mean, like I've played Titanfall and other games where you're just hauling ass, or even like newer Call of Duty games where you like slide. Like that wasn't even like one. They didn't need to do that at all anyway. Was shooting at that, They're just showing that there's a slide mechanic. But it's so
Yeah.
slow, and you didn't slide very far.
That guy got destroyed.
And it seems like the sensitivity of their like control, whatever they're playing on, is like.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, you have a
Like
grappling hook.
like a ground pound, but nothing happened.
'Cause I feel like-
What was that? Hold on. Do you have a Halo Infinite grapple now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that what he did?
yeah, you have a grappling hook, but it feels like the character weighs like 1,000 pounds. Or
Oh, that's kind of neat. Yeah, but but I'm telling you, if you go back and play Borderlands 1, it was just as slow as this. So like this is kind of like going back to what they used to do.
I mean,
Or
I
a
guess,
Just
like,
Cause.
No.
I like the Halo Infinite grapple because that's probably like the best thing about Halo Infinite is your fucking grapple.
We got a mission to get back to because that's not ready.
Oh,
to
because
show.
I'm too fucking stupid to just follow the damn thing on the map. This thing will tell me exactly where I need to go.
Well, we praised that in Dead Space, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's different. Because that Dead Space, you can't like open up a map; it doesn't show you exactly where to go. That one does.
This thing does not look well put together. It looks like his arms are gonna fall off.
Like the pull up is fine. It's just I don't know, some parts of it just feel so slow or sluggish.
I don't mind that.
First person shooters. I guess like if you're playing like Apex Legends or something, it's like that game feels like way faster.
Where the fuck did you come from? You were behind.
He's like, all right.
Always come from behind.
Gross.
Why does she look so much better in this game than she did in Borderlands 3? I knew she was gonna punch a hole in the wall.
Hey, watch this. You remember? Remember berries?
Yeah. Remember, Barry? Remember that? Clear them out. Did you really need to tell me to do that?
Like
That's cool. That's very cool.
Shoot the weak thing. Shoot the weak thing.
Stop missing.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Stop sliding. You you don't need to be sliding.
Yeah, if there's any purpose for you to use an aimbot right now, it would be it. Make sure that they look absolutely.
She can like make bombs and stuff. That's kind of fun. Hold on. We're talking over it, but they were talking about how couch co-op works. I want to hear that.
Yeah, they still have split screen.
Yeah. Yeah, they say that they still have split screen.
How the fuck does that work?
I don't understand how that works.
Yeah, I was going to say, how the fuck does that work?
No,
items are instanced to the users.
No, I understand how it works is because in Borderlands 2, if you did a mission in co-op, it doesn't transfer over to your main story mode in single player. But when you get to that point that you did do in co-op, the game will already already in its memory say it's like, hey, you did this in co-op. Do you want to skip it? And then you can say yes or no if you get to the point that you've already done in co-op. So it'll skip through the whole thing.
So this
No. What he's saying, what I'm hearing him say in this is that if I'm playing with let's just say I'm playing with two other people, I can play on normal, Corey can play on hard, and then Edwin can play on easy, and then somehow we're all playing in the same game on our own difficulty settings? I don't understand.
That part's weird.
I need.
That doesn't sound like that would work at all.
Like enemies can't have different health pools per instance of user because it wouldn't make sense of like how much damage you're doing it to it versus how much damage I'm doing to it.
The only way I can picture it is if it just pertains to the player character. Like the player character just takes a percentage less damage and deals a percentage more damage or something like that, depending on your difficulty slider. But even then, it's like.
Yeah, like some sort of handicap or something that's put on your character.
If you're somehow instancing the health and damage to each user that's choosing the difficulty so that it, like, if I'm playing on, like, legendary, playing on easy, that the damage output that you see that I'm doing and is if I was on easy mode to you, and then the damage output I see on my end, but it balances so that we're both progressing at the same time. That just seems like chaos, though. I wouldn't have any idea how to put that shit together.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I guess they're not going to explain it, but that's just what he's saying. Is just a fact. Is just that you can just do that. But I'm genuinely curious how that would work.
Nonsense here.
Yeah,
that's like crybaby shit.
Does that mean it's the end of level skipping by joining your high level friend and getting all the? So you can get.
I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
Somebody at Gearbox gets paid $175,000 a year. So
I mean, I'm at least glad they have this somewhat figured out. You know, I can at least respect them that they're proud of their couch co-op heritage, unlike the fuckers over at 343 that were like
Yup.
co-op campaigns definitely coming to Halo Infinite. Never mind, we lied.
Neither is Halo Infinite. Here's the multi.
Yeah. Also, the game's not done. Also, we had a pretty decent launch, but we're just gonna let the game die and then never do anything about it till a year after the fact. Anyways, I don't know why this is bringing up so many Halo Infinite comparisons, but I'm like, I guess I'm not going into like hate this, but I'm so defensive and like I have to scrutinize everything new nowadays because I'm just like, all right, what bullshit is this? Like, I can never be happy or excited just blindly for anything anymore. So I'm looking at this like, when does the shoe drop? Where's the other part of this where I'm gonna hate?
You can only just say like, who hurt you? And you're like, the game industry.
Yeah, the game industry over and over and over again. It never stops.
Yeah, because everything is going to shit, and then it's just like some of these games are better, some of these games are worse or not good at all. So it's just like, hey, everything that is Halo like is like doing a little bit better. Like Borderlands is doing better. Marathon's probably going to hit the shit, and then Halo, who knows what's happening with.
I mean, Marathon's reception, that's the word, was not so great in the like that EA was like, yeah, that Titanfall one we were doing, stop it.
Oh, God, fuck. I don't care if it was an extraction shooter. I mean, well, I do care if it was just based in the Titanfall universe, because that's the same bullshit Apex Legends is. It has nothing to do with Titanfall. It's not technically Titanfall 3. It was just something based in their universe, and it was an extraction shooter. But that being said, because we don't know anything about the game, if it was supposed to be a thing where I had my Titans and stuff, I'm very mad right now. But I just generally don't know what we lost.
Correct.
We don't know what we lost.
Maybe the card shop simulator was based in the universe of Titanfall, and it's just you're a regular guy. It's just,
Yeah.
it's like we had to cancel that game. Like
I just hate that it's like the Titanfall universe. It's like, what do you mean the Titanfall universe? You guys aren't Mass Effect, you know that, right? It's like you're just you're a fucking bunch of people fight each other with Titans. Like I've played the campaign of Titanfall like 3 or 4 times. I couldn't fucking tell you what the story is. Like I just like let's fucking go, BT, fucking let's kick ass. I just want to shoot stuff with my giant robot.
Game about a guy with a giant robot. Metal Gear? No, not that one.
Yeah,
Gundam? No, not that one. Armored.
I don't understand how you can make an IP like like one of the smoothest gameplay experiences of jumping in and out of a giant mech to shoot stuff that's like ever been made, in my opinion. To be honest with you, like better and smoother than any Gundam game that's ever been made, at least the ones that I've experienced. And you just give it all up for fucking Apex Legends. I'm so mad. I just want more Titanfall. Actual, real Titanfall. Not this bullshit just set in the Titanfall universe.
Yeah, let's hope that the combat in Borderlands 4 goes like it visually it looks a little bit better than 3, but let's hope that the story that everyone's going to look very closely at is definitely better.
I mean, so far what I'm seeing, I mean, we're not going to get a whole lot of story out of this gameplay trailer. They're going to be showing off the gameplay, which, as I said before, has still been strong with the series. I'm not hating what I'm seeing so far. The biggest takeaway so far is just I don't care for a lot of the characters' designs. I just think they're weak compared to the other ones, but at least this Siren character seems to be a bit cooler, and the Iron Man character, I'm just going to call him that, seems to, like, I get it. I get his gimmick now. I kind of wish they would show off all 4 of them, but I guess we'll just keep going on, see what else this has.
Hang with your buddies.
Yeah, the way he said it, I was like, yeah,
it's just called Tim.
Or it's like an acronym for something, maybe.
I am Tim. It's probably a Monty Python fucking reference or some shit.
Yeah.
Amara, you were in there? I didn't even see her in there. Oh, Lilith died.
No, she's alive. Well, people believe she's somewhere alive.
That looked weird.
Yeah, that was weird as fuck.
He's like, we know that straight through the camera. Can you just walk slightly? It looks like you did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Menu screen's kind of nice.
Oh god, he takes up all half of the screen. That fucking robot's gonna have so much involvement in this game.
But he's got 4.
I like the Jacobs
These are
weapons.
the companies.
Yeah,
Then the H.
that looks fun. I always like the guns where you could throw them and they do something to reload.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 new ones.
I will never use a charge blast gun unless it's a rail gun.
Man, took his head clean off.
Yeah, about to bust laser cannon. The guns look really cool.
Oh,
That's really interesting. Because there's going to be a meta build for everything.
yeah. So that makes it sound like these are going to be the most like customizable weapons yet. Because what they're saying is that like, as they just explained, all the different companies have like their own gimmicks that you typically see on guns. But now it seems like you can pick up guns that have little aspects from a bunch of different companies all in one gun. So
Yeah,
the
but
guns
I
are.
think they're all 100% generated. I don't think they said a single thing that you could customize it yourself.
No. I didn't think about that, but I'm saying like the loot table just got exploded, and it was already
boy.
pretty large to begin with. If they can have all those different variables in it now,
Yeah.
No, I think in this they're talking about that you can build your gun out, want it to be used.
well, here let's hear him explain it. If he says you build it, or if it just they spawn in with those aspects on it or not.
Random bullshit go.
Random bullshit go.
I'll just one on a single.
Yes, it says spawn.
Yeah, so
So
you almost had me.
the higher
The fuck is
Like
that?
a running. It's a running gun.
The fuck?
It's cute.
Yeah, there's like what 5 rarities.
Oh, okay. So they're. Oh, that's. I don't know how much I like that though. Did you? Okay, so to be clear, he's saying whatever these things are, these enhancement things, they're replacing artifacts, and what artifacts did in the previous games, they were like special items that were class specific that you could pick up, but they'd provide you with pretty substantial bonuses that almost kind of dictated what your play style was going to be.
Mhm.
I think just for an example, I think I'm going to get the details of this wrong because I haven't opened it up in a while. But my my mech warrior on Borderlands 3, I have an artifact on her that like vastly either increases the amount of time I'm in the mech by a lot. I think it's like by kills or something, or I recharge my skill to use bear by doing damage with my guns. Basically, it just lets me be in my mech a lot more often. And depending on how high the rarity, how powerful the effects are, it can change your entire playstyle by adding effects to your different abilities and stuff.
I think you're talking about class items. The artifact thing was like the secondary one that can literally be anything. It's
Was it?
more universal.
Maybe I'm getting them confused then. Well, either way, I prefer stuff that affects your class, where it sounds like these things are replacing those, and these are like augments for manufacturer-specific firearms.
Yeah, I mean, I could see how these would play in with like if you found a high rarity weapon that had multiple manufacturer, balance your artifacts by whatever the things are called, enhancements to kind of boost that weapon. The thing that's kind of interesting, and I mean, they're the kings of, I guess, item generation, but the randomness of it is like I found like maybe it feels this way until you get late game, but it's like you find so many that it's almost impossible how to build out that boosts them because you change it every 5 minutes. So you get to the end of the game where okay, I found something new, but it's not really that good. But with the right boosts, it can be better than what I'm currently like carrying around. Because with a billion guns, like how do you how do you have a proper loadout? Finding something new, it's damn near impossible to kind of like place.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's always the kind of case in games like this, though, is that like the farther into the end game you get, and the more realized your build has become, like you really understand, like especially based on your loot. Let's just say, you know, let's just say I made a Moe's character, and she like I picked up an artifact or a class item that like vastly increases my electrical damage for whatever reason. I'd start specking into more things that revolve around that electrical damage and getting guns with electricity tied to it. And then like so your build's going to start revolving around that, to the point where unless you get some other kind of like uber powerful item that's going to change your possibilities, where you're going to redo your entire build, the farther up you get in that totem pole and the more gear you get specifically around whatever playstyle you developed, you're like the loot is going to mean less and less to you unless it revolves around what you're doing. Whereas in the beginning of the games like this, you're just picking up everything you can find and just using whatever you can before your class really takes its identity the farther you get down your skill tree and the items you get that affect your class. So that's just something that's going to happen in all these games. The farther you get, the harder it is going to be finding loot that you're actually going to use.
Yeah, it just feels kind of like almost nonsensical until you get late game as you like. I mean, I understand. There's so many options that you're going to engage with this process so much that it's going to just feel like bullshit until you get to the.
Yeah. All right.
This new type of game. This is hard.
Jesus. That guy literally turned into a stain on the floor.
I am liking the effects of them exploding into pieces rather than you shoot them with a huge high-powered rifle and then they're still together but they just fall on the ground. This actually looks a lot more realistic, and I really do appreciate that.
Well, they did keep that going with most of Borderlands. They've always kept it pretty bloody and chunky. I think that was part of the reason why playing the Tiny Tina spin-off was kind of a letdown, because I think they might have done it in pre-sequel too. I mean, it's been a while, but I don't think there was nearly as bloody in those games. I know, and definitely not in Tiny Tina's Adventure. Like it was rated T. A Borderlands game was rated T because there was like no dismemberment and hardly any blood. Like it was kind of lame. It was weak. But I do like the extra chunkiness they got going on here with blowing people up. It looks good.
Loot chest.
God. Being shot and burned alive. Wrong place, wrong time, my man.
That's kind of nice. So what I'm hearing from that is basically legendaries aren't going to drop like candy anymore. When they drop, it's actually going to mean something, like a classic vanilla World of Warcraft raid. When the legendary drops, it's actually going to mean something, because definitely when you crank up the difficulty in Borderlands 3 to where you get, you know, better loot tables, it's like any random enemy is just fuck. You're picking up legendaries every 2 seconds, and most of the time just selling them because I don't need them. I have too many of them, and they just don't pertain to what I'm doing. Whoa.
It's a hell of a gun.
Oh yeah, the
I like that.
It's not ammo.
Oh, your heavy weapons have cooldown timers. That's kind of cool.
And
Much better.
I just can't remember much about it, but in Borderlands, is the range of how, I guess, how important the weaponry is going to be, whether it's legendary or just plain common weapons, is it based on difficulty of the game? If you play at a harder difficulty, you get better weapons, or does that not apply to this?
It's not necessarily better weapons, because the weapons will scale with your level in terms of power. It's the drop rates. So, like, the higher difficulty you're playing on, the more rare. Like, basically, let's just say,
The better odds of getting
you
a good
play,
weapon.
yeah, you play on easy, you're going to encounter like a legendary every. Like, I'm just throwing random numbers. So you encounter a legendary every 5 hours, a normal every 3 hours, hard every 2 hours, or something like
Okay.
that. But it's vastly different. But it just increases your chances of getting better loot.
I like that because that's going to challenge the player to do better. If they're going to always be, being careful all
Well-
the time, they're not going to get the really good weapons that somebody else could, because of course their odds are going to be stacked against them.
Well, I'm just telling you how it works in 3. Based on what he just said, they might have changed the system entirely. I have no idea, but I know that's how it works in 3. The more you crank up the difficulty, the better loot, or the better, more rare loot's going to drop. So I don't know if they're going to keep it over to here. But what he just said about heavy weapons not taking up a slot and being on a cooldown, I really like that, because I always felt like that was kind of what they're for anyways. You never touched your heavy weapons until you're basically fighting a boss anyways, so them not taking up a weapon slot and just taking, well, still might be a pickup you get, but they're going to be a cooldown now, is a nice change. It'll actually encourage you to use it more if they're not tied to ammunition either, if it's just a cooldown, because you won't actually be saving it because you're just, using it for trying to save the ammunition. Yep, there's your. Yeah, it looks like they're still keeping this system. So if you look at the top there's like 3 different. Looks like they have another tree to everything, because before it was like those 3 options at the top. There was a different talent tree going down each of them, and then once you got to the bottom, you can start putting points into other trees. But now it looks like not only are you picking your talent up top, you have a section you put points in, then it splits again into 3 different things. That's actually kind of neat, because those triangle ones at the bottom kind of change how your abilities work entirely. And usually you only got one of those per like that red, green, and blue thing up there, but now it looks like each one has 3, so it looks like we have way more options in terms of talents, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, I like my variety in build options. That's what makes Elden Ring so good for me.
Well, I think
Yeah.
the good part about this is that you're more likely to, let's say me and you are playing that both want to be Siren, then like we're not the same. Like the hard part about it, the previous one, especially like Borderlands 1 and 2, is like if we were both the same character, damn near impossible to be any different from each other.
Yeah. That is nice, so it won't feel like you're stepping on your teammates' toes if you want to play as the same character. So this is kind of neat. Just I agree with Edwin. The added variety is very nice. I like that. More build options. Eldritch Blast, D&D.
Conjuring Beast.
Oh, so so
okay.
that's kind of cool.
I
So
would
she
love
has
that
a pet.
class. Hell yeah.
Oh, so that's super cool. So that really changes how she plays. So it looked like in the old one he had like a bunch of bombs he could throw out and detonate when he wanted to, but this one she just has a spectral fucking saber-toothed cat. That's kind of cool, actually. It really changes how you would play. It's not just like, I guess to compare it to like Amara, the punchy siren from Borderlands 3. She had 3 different talent trees, but it was just like 3 different ways of punching people. Like it wasn't a whole lot of difference.
It was really lame.
Yeah. Like the Beastmaster again wasn't too different. He got a different pet depending on which talent tree you went down. Moe's was actually still kind of boring too, but this really seems like it changes it. Hopefully this is the same with all the characters, not just this character that has this kind of variety, but
Yeah, the monkey with a gun.
what I mean, yeah, that was funny.
Where's L2 again?
Oh, that's neat. More passives. Ooh. Once again, I hope this level of like intricacy in each talent tree applies to the other 3 characters and not just this siren. They're just showing off like the best one they have.
We spent a lot of time on this one character, rush the other.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm kind of worried about is that like this looks really cool. I hope that remains true. Like all the other characters have like really different play styles like that she gets too. So I hope that remains true.
Yeah, sirens usually are like really as surprising. It's still really cool.
Well, yeah, she probably has the most wiggle room, but the other guy seems like he has like nano suit tech Iron Man shit. So hopefully he can have some cool stuff. I mean, if anything, I hope at least the barbarian guy gets like maybe only one of his talent trees is using the double axes, and then maybe you switch and he gets swords or he gets a hammer or something, like his weapons change, or like a giant great bow or something like that. That would be kind of neat, but we won't know. Based on the amount of time in this video, I doubt they're going to go over every character, but if this is to be expected from all of them, that's really cool. That kind of variety is here. Shut the fuck up, Amara. I can play the game. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I fucking hate that shit. It's just like, yeah, this NPC is like, man, look at this vent. We should go through this vent and see where it leads. Like, nah, I thought I was just going to sit here and just stick my thumb up my ass and do nothing, fucking asshole. It's like, stop telling me how to play the fucking video game.
Dude,
it's like, I have...
They can hear.
I have eyes. I have played a video game at least once in my life, I think. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go through the only way forward in front of me. Okay, you don't have to tell me to do that. You don't. It's like you don't have to tell me to do that. Just let me do it, please. Just let me play the game.
Is that a vent? Ah, dang it, we're trapped.
I mean, Corey, it's very ironic finding about that when we've been playing Gears of War and it doesn't tell us shit.
Yeah, the whole time we're fuck are we going?
I'd rather figure it out and feel smart at the end of the day than just being or fucking just feel like a fucking idiot when just like it's like you look at a door, it's like, look, there's a door, we should go inside. It's like, nah, really?
Equals the handle. Nope.
I can't like I'll still be mad at it that's in this game, but like that's just a video game problem in general. Fucking NPCs standing around telling me what I can see with my fucking eyes.
That was like the #1 gripe, right? People with Atreus and God of War. He was like, that'd be crazy if you threw your axe at the thing.
Here's the thing. I don't mind that happening. Like, let's just take God of War specifically. Like, that's there for people who can't solve the puzzle easily, right? The problem with how they did it in there was you only had like 30 seconds before Atreus started saying some shit. It's like, dude, just give me a minute. Yeah. Like, let me look at it and figure it out. Like, I don't mind if, like, I don't know, God forbid you're standing there for like 20 minutes, but like maybe after 5 to 10 minutes, he'll say something, like he'll do a really vague, like kind of like, maybe look at this or do that. And then after 10 minutes, he'll be like, well, maybe if you threw your axe here and grab this, like he slowly gives you more information. But the problem in God of War is that like you had like 10 or 15 seconds before he just gives you the answer. And I'm like, would you just let me try first before you start spoon feeding me the answer?
Yeah.
Like that, I just felt like that was different compared to something like this.
Like, I'm not even struggling with the puzzle. I'm looking at items and you're yelling the answer to something I haven't even engaged with yet. Because I'm like, is there an item over here? Let me go check if it's collectible. Find these things. And he's like, do the puzzle. Here's the answer.
Yeah, I love Ragnarok, but that's one of the low points in that is fucking Atreus telling you to do shit when you're doing something else, or you're like, just let me think, let me play the fucking video game, please.
Well, I felt like Drake's Uncharted did that well, because there is some parts from my own experience that you'd just be looking at things and it would be sometimes a little bit difficult to see where exactly you needed to go, and eventually it would just pop up on the screen giving you a hint of where you needed to go, and I thought that was kind of nice rather than somebody just spilling out crap at your face. That was like a little bit help. If you know you're not making any progress, it kind of popped up to like get you going.
Yeah, but it's also funny because earlier in this video, robot that has an option to give you a line up to the objective. So there's no point in everyone telling you what when the robot
Yeah,
tells you
exactly.
to run
If I wanted the help, I get it.
There's a lot of ways to figure out where you got to go.
I don't
Also,
typically play Mario and I get to a gap and Mario's just like, oh no, I better press the A button to jump over this gap. It's like, gee, really? I was like, oh no, there's
Push
some
the
Goombas
button!
in front of me. I better grab this fire flower right
I
here
said to push the
in front
button!
of me.
The hell are you doing? You're stressing me out.
please,
It's-
God, give me a Mario game where he describes what every.
Yeah, like Nintendo only does it subtly, where it's like, "Hey, you died like 6 times. Here's like an invincibility suit, you dipshit." It's like, no, and it's optional. I don't have to take the suit of shame to get through the rest of your fucking level, because Nintendo expects you to fucking like when you get to the gap, they're like, "Yeah, we kind of expect you have the brain power to know you're supposed to jump over this, so we're not gonna spell it out for you."
You can do in this game if you haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, I know it's small thing, not only Borderlands, but fuck, I hate seeing it. It's getting really annoying.
We went through the vent, thank God. We didn't know.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God Amara was there to tell me to go through the vent. I'm not sure what I would have done otherwise.
Spinny do. He just turns into a blender.
Yeah. Stop sliding.
But he fighting a Snuffleupagus.
Snuffleupagus. Punch.
Ground pound.
No, actual use of the ground pound, unlike
Yeah,
earlier.
that time it actually did something.
Wham wham wham. Wham wham.
Gotta say, I'm not a big fan of whatever the fuck this music is, because they're in the middle of combat, and it's just kind of like ambiance kind of music.
Well, it just doesn't seem very
Oh.
extreme right now. I don't know what it is. Like, it's just.
They're probably playing on easy difficulty, so there's not that many enemies.
Because for a game where they're like, we have all these different ways to take the level through momentum, like sliding and grabbing. They're just like running in a circle, shooting at the same guy, out of
Yeah.
the same. Like visually, I love the way this looks, though.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing coming out of this. This game does look very. I mean, it's running on a PS5 Pro, so it's like the tippy top as far as consoles go right now, but it still looks good. I doubt it's gonna have a problem running on Xbox. Switch
Does it
2,
run on
we'll see,
Switch
but
2?
yeah, we'll see about that. It's gonna come to Switch 2, but we'll see about that.
This boss,
Boss fight.
cool as shit.
That's a crab.
It's a crab. Like,
It's a many-handed crab.
Jesus. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Jesus fucking bullet hell much. Good
Elden
lord.
Ring boss right there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We're fighting like a fucking Cthulhu demon.
Yeah.
Hindu god. Just throwing all his hands at you.
He's just
Yeah.
one high fives, and you're misunderstanding what he's asking.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh, that's
Holy
cool.
shit.
Oh,
Hands
that's
of hands.
cool.
That's nuts.
fucking love that boss fight.
That's all it offers. The hands.
All right. All right. That pretty much shows it. Yeah, I don't care about you, Randy. Sorry.
Love me yet?
Look at all these people. Yep,
They work for
sure,
me.
buddy. They work for me.
That time I went to medieval times and let my thumb drop.
All right, and I will stop that recording there, and we can just sit here and chit chat about what we just talked about, or we just saw, basically. But yeah, that was.
I don't know if we missed the you know how like in older Borderlands games where you have to go back and then go find the boss itself. They specifically said that you can redo missions and redo boss fights in those missions, so that way you don't have to like run back and like go around the world to go find the same thing again. You can just replay the mission and the boss itself.
That's not
Yeah,
This
that's
is what
nice.
happened that way.
run the boss instead of go through the whole. I mean, overall, I think the game like visually looks amazing. Gameplay.
Uh-oh, he cut out.
Did you... Yeah. What happened? Uh-oh.
He cut out. Uh-oh.
Nope.
Oh, there you are. Come back. You came back.
Oh, what was the last thing he said?
You're literally saying it looks good, but
Oh
Oh,
no, I was saying that like visually it looks good. It seems like it plays sluggish, but maybe that's just because I'm so far because it's been so long. The character, like, we kind of only got to see the siren. I'm sure that before September comes out, um, going to see the other classes because I mean they kind of really got to sell the other ones as well.
yeah,
And I
like I said,
will be coming around with them, but I'd
my
like to see
fear is that
others.
they just put the best foot forward, and the other guys aren't going to seem nearly as cool as in comparison with their abilities.
well,
Yeah,
they said that there was a live play session and like conventions that they'll have available. So if you like find like YouTubers that actually go to those things, then you'll get more information out of it.
I think I mean, like, I'm hoping that what is it? Because like the sniper class in Borderlands games usually gets kind of like shafted in a sense because there isn't really a lot of room for sniping in the game because all the boss fights and the gun does high damage. Fight is usually close range, anyways. You never end up in like a sniper battle. It's so like that type of class is kind of across
Useless.
Well, I don't think I think they moved away from that ever since Borderlands 2 because Borderlands 1 definitely was like Brick used shotguns and rocket launchers, Lilith used SMGs and pistols, Roland used assault rifles, and then the
Right.
sniper guy used sniper rifles. And they kind of did it with Borderlands 2. Borderlands 3 is like way more free. It's more like you had the option to spec into things that would increase your damage or prowess with certain weapon types. So I don't think that's something you need to worry about because none of those characters really screamed like, I'm the sniper essentially, or at least based off of just
Yeah.
looking at them. Um, so I don't think that's much of an issue.
Like once we see like the soldier's other abilities, whatever the character left was, I didn't even notice this like first time.
What
The
little I saw of them in the cinematic trailer, I'm gonna take a guess and say the person on the Lucio ripoff looking person on the left at the beginning was some kind of tinker. I think they're gonna make stuff, like have gadgets and weird shit. I think.
there might be like team buffs.
Yeah, something like that. But like you said, hopefully we'll have more like gameplay, like almost character specific trailers would be nice, breaking down the characters' abilities. I was going into this not wanting to hate it, but expecting to find a bunch of bullshit I wasn't happy with, but I'm not nearly in like, oh, I'm going to go pre-order this today territory. I'm still probably not going to at all and just wait for it to come out and see what people think about it, but
Same.
I'm a bit more optimistic seeing this. It like as we kept saying, looks fantastic. The gameplay seems to be there. If anything, Corey, I might re-download the remastered Borderlands 1 and just show you what I mean when I say like it was slow back then and it kind of increased. So that it like the speed seemed fine to me. Not only that, I'm sure they were playing on a pretty easy difficulty, so there's not as many like monsters spawning and they're mowing them down faster than they're spawning.
We're gonna play on 150 cc's.
And plus, we don't know when. I mean, they were level 20-ish, so I would imagine that was like probably at least close to midway through what I would consider a single player story, I suppose. But I just know that Borderlands, like a bunch of other RPGs, it definitely ramps up harder like the more you get to end game as far as like the amounts of enemies and how tough they are. So, um, I would rather just wait for gameplay before I make a judgment call on that. But I'll keep my eye on it now. At least, like my main fear was the custom characters thing, and that not being true makes me feel better, despite the fact that I'm still not really excited about them. But at least they're not custom characters, so I'm happy about. It doesn't seem. Yeah, it doesn't. Nothing about it is screaming, I hate this game, but I'm still not going to pre-order it. I'll just carefully keep an eye on it, and hopefully when it comes out, it's good. And if it is, I might buy it. I want Borderlands to be good. So hopefully that's the direction we're going with. At least it seems that way anyway. So
Yeah, I think the interesting part is like even after this, it's like I am just to like, rather than just being like meh.
yeah,
It's kind of driving me a little bit to play Borderlands just so I can like those 4 characters before playing the new one.
I think I also heard when he was explaining the characters, like, all four of these characters will be available at launch. And I'm like, okay, so that is automatically telling me you literally have DLC in the chamber that you could probably ship out the game
Released,
with, but you're
yeah,
going to fucking hold on to it to
use the money
cash in
grab.
later.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm like, that's kind of scummy because I'm like, how cool would it be? It's like, all right, here's your four main vault hunters, and on day one, but wait, there's more. We actually have 6 vault hunters to choose from. That'd be kind of cool just on
You
launch.
gotta worry about a Battleborn situation.
What do you mean by that?
Where it's just like, hey, this game's gonna be side, and then it just falls flat on its face. It's like, well, now we can save those DLC characters and put them somewhere. That's probably where
I,
some of the first came from.
my problem is, I'm more saying it's just like they've clearly probably at least already have at least started making those DLC characters, even if they're not done yet. And it's like, why not just release the game first, see how well it does, then if everyone loves it, then start working on DLC after the fact. Not just being like, all right, we're gonna sell this game and then sell them the season pass. I'm sure the Gearbox loves their season passes, so I'm sure that's probably going to be a thing that you can pre-order too, is the fucking season pass for Borderlands 4.
I mean, if you wait long enough, then you could just get edition with a discount with the season pass.
Right?
Because I know a lot of people are super pissed with like, hey, there's like 4 different editions of Borderlands 3, and then the Ultimate Super Master Edition, like the better one, and people were pissed that they released that one when they bought the what was previously the Max Edition, and then they added more stuff, and then they added a higher.
Well, they have the Pandora's. They have like the Pandora's box edition now, where it's like literally every game and every DLC ever for all of them.
Yeah, no, I mean it was specifically for Borderlands 3 or Tiny Tina, whichever. But I know there's a lot of people pissed about that because they kept releasing new editions and new things. So they just put everything out when you say Ultimate Edition.
Yeah. What do you think, Jordan? What do you think about all that? Does that look like fun to you?
I mean, I think I would probably enjoy it. Again, the co-op ordeal for me has always been a blast with Borderlands. I never fault them for that. They definitely do try to keep you engaged with all the different things you can do out there. The customization with those guns is just phenomenal. The fact that I could always pick up a gun and it'll always be different is just amazing. And the fact that I just saw that they have all these other additional things that they've now put into the play with how you can be more customizable. So again, it's going to be just a huger variety of options that are out there. But again, I do happen to have the same feelings. Would have been nice that they did show more details in the other characters, but I'm right there with you. I'm really hoping that they do fall through, that they give everybody the same amount of details they gave that girl, to be sure that everybody's happy with their character, rather than we all want to be her because she's the only one that gets everything. These other people are very plain, and it's not for us. So everybody's just going to be plain as that same damn character, and then eventually that's when unless this is kind of one of those money grub situations, just like, hey, if we got these characters out there, we got the one that we got them really interested in, but these other 3 are maybe not that interesting. Well, we're going to have some more DLC with these characters that will probably put that extra love in, and then we can sell those characters at a premium price, something stupid like that, which I really hope they don't do. But the colors, like I said, very vibrant. It was really cool. I do like that it looks a lot more like if you're looking at a comic book. That was something they have done in the past before, but the cell shading that was back in the past wasn't really that great. I could still see that there was a little bit work needed, but this one was a lot more smoother, and I was kind of one of those weird things that I did see, and I don't know if anybody else was looking at it, but like when I was seeing the dog, it was like a wolf or something like that, and it was like how it was trotting, like you were seeing the movement in the joints. It almost looked really fluid, and I thought that was really cool because a lot of those things are getting missed. Like they just get really quick to it, to where they put the design, the character to make a move, but it just doesn't seem right. It seems off. That one looked really nice, but again, that free falling thing, again, that is something that I cannot stand, is when you have a hand on your gun, you're falling at a very fast rate, but your person looks calm as ever, and they're just falling down and nothing is working. The sliding looked really weird too. There's just a little bit of mechanics here and there that I wish that they did improve a little bit on, but like overall, I've probably been this way for the long time now, since again we have the internet. So instead of us throwing out a huge amount of money towards this game, we now have the opportunity to in a weird way see someone else either succeed or fail and then live through them vicariously. Like I saw how it played out, and I'm not going to like this, so I'm glad I got to see it through your view, and I didn't have to fork up all the money for a pre-order. I'm actually going to wait and find out, and if it is a good game, and shit, I might buy it myself and play with my kids, because they actually were playing Borderlands 3 with me for a little bit, but it was a little bit here and there, kind of say. But I think that the fourth one here, if it is going to pull through, which I think it will, but I don't know how well it's going to be as in pertaining to the new types of ideas that they're throwing out there. Sometimes they do really well with it. Sometimes it's a hit or miss. So like I said, I'm rooting for them, but I'm not exactly sure how well we're going to it being compared to the previous ones. I'm really hoping it does do better, but yeah, I'll probably end up getting it probably in the future, but we only can wait and see exactly how it plays with the other people that are YouTubing it up, and hopefully again it comes out swinging. So
I mean, another thing too is like it comes out in September, and I know that that's 4 months away or whatever. But if you're looking at that time frame, like based off of the gameplay we just saw, like that's probably what we're getting. Like, there's no way they're gonna touch it up even more so before we get there, because they're doing their press now. So this is the marketing of the development process. So like if we're hoping that they're going to bump up the dynamics of like the motion or mobility or anything like speed it up, that's probably not going to happen. I don't even
Well, I mean, thankfully it's like sliding is just sliding. It's like, don't you like sliding? It's like, no, I don't know anyone who plays FPSs like this outside of like the really cracked out people that slide at all. So it's like, I'll just not slide, thank you.
So I'm sure that was a good representation of life, regardless of what they might say, like, oh, still in development. It's like, really? Still in development 4 months from launch? I mean, I understand bug fixing and stuff like that, but bug fixing is a way different than just like, final gameplay mechanics. They're just like making sure it doesn't crash or that systems like work properly. There isn't really a lot of like major overhaul that are happening in the last 4 months. This is the polish phase to make sure textures are fine and sound is compressed. It runs smoothly and doesn't burn your PlayStation to the ground when it loads up.
But yeah, I think that's our thoughts on the Borderlands deep dive. So we'll keep an eye on this in the future. But I came out a bit more optimistic than I did going into it. So I'll keep my eye on it. So unless anyone has anything else to say, I think we're done here.
I think I'm done too.
No, definitely more optimistic, considering that it's like it was not nearly that cool when like they first released it, or like released the first trailer or teaser or anything like that. Because I was expecting like more or less the same as Borderlands 3. It was like, yeah, it's fun to play, not super interesting or replayability and story wise and characters. So I mean, I'll get it as like in the future, definitely not the same with everyone else.
All right. Well, I guess we'll be wrapping it up for today. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Twitter, YouTube.
Hey, this is Corey, and thanks for checking out Mediocre Rumble Brothers. If you liked the video, please drop a like, and if you didn't, that's fine too. If you'd like us to talk about any specific games, drop a comment below, or feel free to discuss your experience with the games that we've mentioned in the episode. You can also listen to our episodes prior to YouTube on our Spotify. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon.